Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel and blog. I'm Jenny Hall. Thanks for joining me for another card making tutorial. Today I'm creating a card that has a oval spotlight design with high tide stamp set. To create my oval and get everything lined up properly, I'll start out with the oval framelit that I choose to use to die cut my design. I have a pencil and I'm making the directional marks so that I can be able to tell how far outside of the boundaries I'm stamping. I'm going to use a little bit of an ombre look on the sentiment and on the light rays. One easy way to create ombre stamping is to use a silicone craft mat and add your ink colors one on top of the other. Then use your stamp, load up the lightest color, and right in the dividing line between those two colors, do a little cha-cha dance with your stamp, and that will help to spread the dark color to the light side and the light to the dark. Here you can see exactly what the results are by using your craft mat in this fashion. Black archival ink helps me to get very crisp images. So I'm adding the illusion of the birds, and I do remember my directional marks so that I know exactly how many birds will end up being on the oval and the birds also that won't. I know that the entire image of the lighthouse is not going to be inside the oval, so I'm careful to place enough of it inside the design area so that I know what the finished product will look like. I used black as the foundation color for the lighthouse, and then used a light gray to go back with the second of the multi-layered stamp. Here is the leftover ink, and I'm using the light ray, and I'm using the additional ink that was left on the craft sheet. As you can see, it's not a solid color. It's a little bit mottled, but that's okay. That's exactly what I was hoping for. When having any type of light that you're trying to stamp, such as a light ray or a sun ray, it's not going to appear as a solid color in nature. I've used that die to go ahead and die cut over the area that I had pre-marked, and am now using the eraser of a pencil to remove all of the directional marks that I had notated. They usually come off with no trouble whatsoever. If you experience any trouble, then you just grab a different kind of eraser, and maybe that will give you a little bit more assistance. To create some interest and texture on the card base, I'm using basic black baker's twine that is a blend of black and white together. I'm wrapping it around a panel, and the panel will then attach itself to the card base. I've secured it with a bow that's to the front left-hand side of the panel, and here are the most favored silver mini sequin trim. Before I attach that strip, I pull off a few of the sequins on either end, and that gives me a little bit of silver thread that is frayed and showing on the actual string of sequins. I can then use the frayed thread as part of my design, and also use those sequins that were taken away and put them into the design as well. So now I not only have a sparkle of interest down on the middle of the card, but I can add that sparkle to carry out through the rest of my design as well. They also complement very nicely to the gray monochromatic look of the lighthouse. There are several different little holes, I believe they are windows, on the lighthouse, and that's where I'm going to choose to place the sequins on the front of the card. It looks like they would belong there naturally. For the inside of the card, I'm carrying through with that gray color element and stamping the little grouping of birds. I'm not sure if they're seagulls or sandpipers, but they look really nice. I'm securing my panel to the inside with liquid glue. Thank you for joining me for another card making tutorial. Be sure not to miss the exclusive content I share only with my customers. You can become a customer by clicking Shop Now at www.jennystampsup.com. Thanks for joining me for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for watching the video. See you next time.